Greetings everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Weekly Challenges Guide. So for those who are new here, or those that need a bit of a refresher, the Weekly Challenges are a set of 5 challenges that go live Thursday night, Friday morning, depending on your region. These consist of 4 races already in the game that may need to be unlocked depending on the progress. On the 5th is the special event. It could either be a race, it could be a time trial, it could be a mission challenge. So, without further ado, let's get into it and see what is on offer this week. So to kick things off, we have the Sunday Cup. This is a 5-lap race around Brands Hatch Indy circuit and requires a road car. So also, 380 performance points usually suggested, but these are pretty easy races, so nothing too strenuous. And of course I'm just going to get this Alfa Romeo Sprint GT there, since it's kind of right there, a little over the edge. Now, let's take a lap around here and see how to get around here properly. So, we're heading down this rather straight here, and we brake right about that mark for Panorama bend. Keep close to the inside, and then accelerate right on out. So hang up here, brake right about at that marker there for Woods. Turn the car like this, accelerate right on out, get a little bit of that curve if you want to. Get yourselves ready right at that point there for Ramhill Bay, excuse me. So down Cooper Straight we go here. And here's where I kind of let off the throttle through Surtees. Use a bit of that curve to turn the car. Through the McLaren we go as well. And I brake right about here, the outside, and turn the car in for a Clark curve. And you want to let the car go out like this here to get some speed before then slowly turn the car back in to the inside. And that is a lap around the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. So, let's go on to the race and see what's going on here. So, the tips for this one, ideal overtaking spots include Paddock Hill Bend, Druids, and Clark Curve. I found those very ideal. You also want to be aware of the AI braking into Druids and McLaren, especially Druids, as I seem to notice a bit of an awkward cadence braking from the AI. I believe that's what that's called. So if you're going for a clean race bonus, keep that in mind. Next, the European FR Challenge 550. This is a 3-lap race at the Red Bull Ring. 550 performance points. Requires a road car from one of the following countries you see here, and an FR drivetrain, basically. Engine in the front, rear wheel, and power at the rear. Simple as that. So you see the kind of examples there. Quite BMW heavy. Just like my choice, the BMW 3-liter CSL that I've already kind of modified myself here. Let's go for a lap around the Red Bull Ring and get a proper idea how to get around, at least how I do it. So, we kick things off for Nicky the curve, brake at that marker, second gear. I tend to be very gentle through here, don't accelerate right out, very straight. That way I don't spin off into the wall over there. Well, very easy to do, depending on your car also. So you're going to be carrying a lot of speed here. You might be slipstreaming an AI even during the race. Here's where things get a little tricky though. Brake at that marker for Remus. First gear, turn in, and again, I don't accelerate until it's fully straight. That way I avoid spinning the wheels, spinning off. So you're going down here, which is not very straight. Curves a bit to the right, then to the left. You want to brake right at about the 150 mark for Schlosshill here. Then to turn in, keep that tire on the curb, that's what I usually tend to do. A little wiggle there. I try to use all the curbs here to try to set myself up for the next series of corners. Same here. Bring up that marker through Walsh. And again, get the wheel on that curb there to turn the car a little bit. And then heading into Worth Curve. Brake, but don't downshift. Touch that curb a little bit to turn the car. And then, of course, the curb right there. That's as much curb as you want without penalties. And then the curb there. And then we're heading up to the right. So I'm going to bring right at the 100 mark. third gear, and again, use a bit of a curve to turn the car, and use the setup before going to Red Bull Mobile, second gear, and right on out to the curve as you accelerate. Down this restaurant we go, and that is a lap around the Red Bull Ring circuit. So now, let's go to the race and see what this is all about. So, the tips here, the ideal overtaking spots are exiting like that on the curve, Sauce Gold, Worth Curve, and Red Bull Mobile. Very ideal. Beware of the AIs early braking at the Remus as well, such as Outline and Roush. They hug the inside for some reason. Be on the lookout for Lopez. If you're going to win, you might want to hustle, especially if he's starting in front. And keep an eye on the weather. It could rain, it could be sun. It's very random on your attempts, so just keep an eye out. Next, the American Club 700, or Clubman Cup 700, excuse me. It's a 5-lap race at Mount Panorama Motor Racing Circuit. Requires a road car professionally tuned from the United States. So, you can see some of the examples there. And the choice I'm going to use this one I haven't used in a while, and it's actually the original car I beat this race with, the Ford Shelby GT500R. And there's a setup for you if you want to make your similar Mustang go pretty quick. So, that's that. Let's take a lap around here and see how it goes. So, the 100 mark, we brake right to Hell Corner. Come right on out to the Mountain Straight here. One of 2 big straights on this track. Definitely not the longest though. That will be coming up very later. I'll take a lap. So we're coming around here, downhill before it goes back uphill. And then we brake right there at the 100 mark for the quarry. I go here third gear. Hang to the inside a little bit, let it roll out, touch a little bit of curve if possible. And then I kind of let off right here through the cutting for a hard braking right there. And then accelerating through this section. And I'm very careful with the acceleration because I want to try and get the car to turn as good as possible for the amount of power. And then comes one of my favorite sections for this entire track, 6 through 10. All the way from Griffin's Mount, Reed Park, Frog Hollow, Salmon Park, John Hunt, Lisa, and McHilary Park. Just an exhilarating section of corners. 4th gear, I take through here, and about 3rd gear, brake a little deeper than 12. And through these S's, very close to that. Tip is right there to maximize and shorten the line. Let off here, and brake hard right there for the dipper. As close to the wall as you want to be, exiting Forest Elbow, and then we get on to the longest straight of this entire track. That's the Conrad Straight. So, on the power fully, you'll be carrying a lot of speed in this course. So those brakes, you better have that braking marker worked out. Use that little bit of section to extend during in here before braking right about there at the 150 mark. 2nd gear through the chase, accelerate out. 3rd gear, and again, I make sure very straight before I do a lot of acceleration. And then brake heavy at the 100 mark for Murray's Corner. 2nd gear, power right on out. Take a deep breath because that was a lap around and out and around. Out to the race. So, overtaking spots here. Hell Corner, Quarry, turns 7 through 10, basically that entire section. The Dipper, the Chase, and Murray's Corner. I found those very ideal spots. And beware the AIs dropping pace from Reed Park to McPhilby Park. They break a whole lot through there, so you can gain a lot of time and a lot of places through there. So keep those in mind. Next, the Group 1 Prototype Series. This is an 8-lap race with 5 times fuel use to 4 times tire wear around Circuit de Saint-Croix C. Not my favorite layout of this track. 950 performance points. Any of these tires there. I'm not sure why you want intermediates or wets since that never happens, but whatever. And obviously, Group 1 tends to be what shows up here, but really you could just use whatever fits the 950 performance points mark. So anyhow, car choice I am going to be using is going to be this Peugeot 908, if I can find it. Here it is. So I'm going to use that. No settings here, just default. Now let's do a lap around this extremely long circuit that I hope never to do again. So, brake right about here at that mark. We turn 1, well, 2 technically. And we accelerate right down this straight here. And it's going to be a little bit before you get to turn 3. And you want to brake right about the 150 mark. At least I found that preferable. Hang right on down to accelerate a little bit. This section's going to be a little bit tricky. So here, hang around in second. More right on out. This curves are very tricky. So accept to the outside because we're going to set up turn 6. Second gear. Accelerate carefully right on out. That wall comes up very quick. Go over here. Brake right at the 150 mark for 7. And don't accelerate too hard because then you have 8 right afterwards. So about second gear here. And accelerate right on out. You can go full acceleration right here before having to brake right about there at that gap in the wall. Second. And then acceleration through this sector right here. 10, 11, and 12. I tend to get off the throttle a little here. Fourth. And then downshift into second before we get up here to the bridge. And again, another part where that wall comes up at you really fast. So, across this bridge section here, before you brake right there at the 150 mark. Second gear, because you exit the bridge. And then here is where things can be a little hairy, but this is what I do. So, fourth gear, I coast the car in the corner. Downshift and then accelerate right on out, and that gives me a good steady acceleration down this very long back straightaway, which yeah, it takes a while, and it's unfortunately one highlight that really makes this circuit really fun because it doesn't feel like it. Anyhow, second gear, brake right where that curve starts, turn in. You can do first, you can do second, whatever to preference. And then these S sections are just some of the most really things that we're driven around. Fourth gear, it says third gear, but really, high downforce pressure, you can pretty much do these in fourth gear. Very occasionally a third gear just because of how quickly they drop away, but otherwise, that's about it. So now we come up right here, second gear. We're almost to the end. There's 3 here. And then turn 24. Yeah, we've been doing that many turns. Back on the acceleration. And that was a lap around this very lengthy circuit, the Saint-Croix city layout. Hopefully I never see this again. Yeah, you can hate me later. Let's go into the race. So, quick tips for this one. Racing mediums are the optimal choice for the start, as usual. Sauce for the finish. One stop strategy tends to be the key thing here. Short shifting, highly recommended. Fuel map is also viable. So, usual strategy you have for the WTC races that are 10 laps. It applies here as well, despite the laps being shorter by only 2 laps. Not in length, but in distance. And finally, the special race, Hyundai Elantra in one make. This is a 4-lap race around Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, featuring none other than the Hyundai Elantra N. So, the final one make for this car here, and interestingly a week before a rumored update. So, I'm going to take my car that I've modified here, and here's the setup if you want to use it for your race here. You're doing something similar. Now, let's take a lap around and show you how to get on here. So, we start right here, curving to the right before we brake right where that patch is through turn 1, and then virage center, second gear, you want to turn right in, and then accelerate right on out. Good power on this car right here, really good. I'm going to brake it to third gear and use a lot of this curve. This will turn the car quite a bit. So accelerate right there. You may have to lift a little bit to hang this car there. B5, that's fine. Brake right that patch. Second gear. Again, use that curb. It will turn this car quite a bit. The car is phenomenal, but every little bit helps. So, accelerate all the way down through here. And this bridge is going to be a tricky one, so you want to brake right at that 100 mark. Do third gear. And the thing just eats curves, so it's fine. We'll be fine through there. So right on now, close to the wall like this. And we're heading to one of my favorite spots here, which is turn 10. And this is a corner that I tend to pretty much excel at. So brake right there where that gap started. Hang right in there and then accelerate right on out. Second gear. Do that in first if you want, but I found second gear to be a little faster. So down this back straightaway here. You know, this is the part where you might think of setting up a move. And if you are, you better be careful, because before you know it, 13 and 14 come up pretty quick. So you want to go right there at the 150 mark. Third gear, I prefer. And again, just takes those curves like a champ. So you pass the wall of champions, down the front straightaway, and that is a lap around Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Hopefully, you've got that one nice and tucked away for yourself. Now, to the race. So, tips here for this one: ideal passing zones of Virage Senna, turns 3 and 4, 6 and 7, 8, 9, and 13 and 14. So, a lot of those there. Beware of the AI's early braking in turn 5. That will throw you off if you're going for a clean race field. So, keep that in mind. And TCS offer optimal pace extraction. This car really excels when you don't have traction control pretty much stopping it. So that's it for this week's edition. Hope you guys enjoyed it, whether you've just logged into these races or you haven't logged in quite some time. If you enjoy these, then give us a like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to tick the bell icon so you'll be notified when these go up at their 1 p.m. time slot. At least hopefully now. So, that is it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys in the next video.